What is your definition of BIM?
Building information modeling as kind of the concept of using digital representations for decision making and such. It is exactly that. It is an integrated part of all activities. It's about people communicating with each other. It's about working in sound ways. Sound meaning that you're creating value with as little loss and errors as possible, that you can pursue your goals, whatever they are, in your project or as a customer for us, and for us as a client, or you have objectives for different companies. So, and in the beginning, for me, it was very like the model. It was very much the bee in the building, and over the years I've come to understanding that it's of course much more holistic. It should be all over, integrated in the entire value chain, all disciplines, and it's about information. It's about people actually, and the people part is something that is very often forgotten, because you have all these flashy softwares and presentations with models that can do a lot of fancy things, but the only reason why we have it is because there's somebody in the other end that has to do something, make a decision, make an offer, go out and dig make a digging in the ground, or make a construction, or facilitate construction, or something like that. So that is the perspective it is for me now, and that's why I choose to call myself more like, or regard myself more like an information manager rather than a BIM counselor, because I think it's quite narrow, and I think we have to lose the idea that the information is in one model, like a file or a model server, that everything has to be geometrical. We have to loosen that up. That is how we are designing new buildings. But when we are digitizing all existing buildings, they can never be on the same precise level, and they will consist of far beyond more than 90% of all the construction that we have. So when we are looking into the crystal ball and say like 10 years from now or 20 years from now, when all constructions in Norway is digitized some way, most of them are building that today is existing today, and they're not modeled with modeling tools. So they have to be digitized all the way. The sources of information will be different also. So we have to be very in further work. We have to be very forgiving in where the information comes from. Except it has to be open standard, and the information has to be correct. But otherwise, the source of it and how it's linked together, that should actually be solved under the bonnet, not really a concern for the user, because otherwise that will be a major obstacle for implementing it. I don't know if I'm spinning off here, but that is the focus I'm having now. And of course, we have this idea of a BIM. We've all seen these models, very detailed models. But I think that information models will actually, for the majority of the industry, further down the road for operation and maintenance, which is where we actually put most of our money and resources as a society, will be much more messy and not so geometrical, or at least not so precise as we are expecting from new designs in using BIM authoring tools. So that is that kind of the reality that is beginning to dawn from us. Let's say Statsbygg, we are finalizing like 10 buildings per year. We have like 100 buildings ongoing, projects ongoing at each time, approximately. and but still we have 2,300 approximately again existing constructions. So the vast majority of constructions is existing, and they're not digitized in any way, and they're certainly not BIM in a detailed manner. And that would be our future perspective when we're talking about the digital twin for operational stage. It's all about is the information, is it available? So is it open format? And is it reliable? Can we trust it? That would actually be the focus that we have in the future.
I've gotten this question many times. BIM for me is, I have been before BIM and I will be after BIM. I think BIM is a part of, it's a very important topic, but it's not even, for many in the industry, it's not a part of their business. So people don't understand that, but for some of them, it's core. So I think that people are talking about BIM as building information modeling. I very often say it's like, is it better information management? But I think that maybe it's an enabler for better processes built. So I would say it's more like an enabler, I would say. But it's a piece of a puzzle, and that is for people, for us as an industry. But we believe maybe that BIM is kind of, this is where we should go, but it's a related topic. And if you look at other industries, it's never that BIM is the solution. It's a part of a solution.
Oh, BIM. I guess I said that to me, BIM is openBIM. And openBIM to me is about ownership to the data. You want to own your own data. openBIM is also a great transport format. So transport things in and between business processes. And it's a fantastic archiving format as well. So it's those three key aspects. But it's all about process, isn't it? That you want to reuse rather than recreate data. So that's BIM, and also the transparency aspect. Give people access to the information they need to do their decisions is also a vital point. BIM for me. So I've been working with BIM for 20 years or more, and it's. Now it's feel like it's been going up all the way. The implementation, we're pretty lucky to be in Norway, I think, and we've been quite forward leaning, and also I think also the big public clients in Norway have made a huge difference because they invested in big projects, hospitals, museums, the airports. They invested in these large and long-lasting projects, which is very educational for anyone involved. So I think Norway is not the worst place to be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good question and a very interesting one. I think I come to realize now that there are very many different opinions or understandings of what BIM is. And I'm not going to say that I have the right sort of aspect of it or whatever, but I think that there are many different opinions on it because there are many different ways of exploiting this potential. For me, building information model is maybe a lot wider scope than most people think of it. Maybe it's more like a digital twin. And what is a digital twin? I like to think of BIM as a data model that's trying to represent the physical built asset. And it's not just the IFC data model or whatever comes out of Revit or ArchiCAD or what have you, but it's all the data around it that you can connect to it. I would like to see the sort of the identification, if you can, with the GDPR or within the sort of privacy limits, of course. The identification and the number of hours a certain person spent on a certain wall. I would like to have that part of the model. I would like to have whatever document is remotely related to the building. I would like to have that part of the model. I would like to have how much time it took from the factory to the building site to carry or to transport a certain window. I would like to have that in the model. So for me, it's everything. And usually the counter argument to that is that, well, then the model will be so heavy to use in software, so it's not really practical. And the answer to that is, it's not really heavy to surf the web. When you are looking at a news page or you're browsing for shopping or whatever, it's not really heavy. But the web is actually full of a lot of data. So it's up to the software vendors to make sure that the model that you're looking at is not heavy at all, even if the BIM is full of data. So that's my approach to it. I think as much data as you can get in there. It doesn't have to be in the same IFC file. It doesn't have to be in the same sort of database, but it should be connected. Everything should be connected through the building information model, because it's just a great data structure to talk about and navigate and look for data in your building. And then once you have that good data structure, you can start automating. You can start using artificial intelligence to get all kinds of interesting things in the years to come. But if you stuff more data in, you get more out. It has to be real data. It doesn't have, and it has to be what we actually have. So if there is a PDF, it's not the best data that you can wish for, but it's what we have. So, well, let's use that one then until we get better data. So for me, it's a very wide concept, but it's a huge potential. But it's always the case that you start with what's actually there now. Whatever comes out of ArchiCAD, whatever comes out of Revit, and whatever you can give us, dear BIM authoring guy or lady, that's what we take. And then we'll have to iterate and iterate and iterate and slowly become better and better and better, and slowly have more and more interesting data and find better and better ways of working with this.